Good morning, YouTube. Today I woke up feeling like making a video on a tier list on all the roller coasters I've been on in Florida. Even ones that have the companies that haven't been in a while, like Star Universal Orlando. Originally I was supposed to go out on Friday the 20th to make a video on Magic Kingdom being slow during when there's a party going on at night, the Halloween party. But I ordered something that's coming in the mail that day that needs a signature. Kind of investment for a channel and kind of investment just for me for fun of it also. But today we're just gonna make the tier list in place of that video on the best roller coasters, or just put the roller coasters I've ridden in Florida pretty much. Anywho, I'll see you in my office slash bedroom. It's bedroom slash office, I guess. First off, before I get into business and to my computer, I want to say a special shout out to Theme Park Angel for allowing me to make this into a poster with his permission. I saw this on his Facebook post, so I'll make sure I put his Facebook group on the description for this video. But I want to say a major shout out for him allowing me to make this to 11x14 poster. So guys, we made it inside my bedroom office area already, as you can see, and I have my DJI Pocket 3 connected to my computer. You can use this as a webcam, surprisingly. So first thing we're gonna do is play around with this tier list I made. The thing that's first there, it looks like it's actually my favorite roller coaster of all time, Iron Gwazi. This is an RMC hybrid coaster. It used to be an original coaster car, the regular Gwazi, that was a dual-in wooden coaster, and it didn't operate that long. I think they stopped operating in 2015, I believe. And then it looks like Busch Gardens called RMC. They used the base of that to build a new coaster. So they used the base of the original Gwazi to make Iron Gwazi. And since it's my favorite roller coaster of all time, it's definitely going in S tier. Definitely going S tier. Second on the list is actually Cheetah Hunt. It's actually my second favorite roller coaster in Busch Gardens to Iron Gwazi. It's good, but it's not as good as Gwazi. Like Gwazi is just pure insane. It's like the most intense thing ever if you've been on Gwazi, but this is more like a family drill type of ride. It's still very fun, enjoyable. It's a good little intimate blitz coaster. So I'm gonna give this a A tier. Next up is Air Grover. This is their family kids baby coaster. I'm not sure what you want to call it. I rode it just to get the credit for it, and I personally did not enjoy it, but I'm more of a thrill seeker, so I'm gonna put this in the D tier because of that. Like, it's good for kids, it does its purpose for them, but it's not doing the purpose for us as thrill seekers, as coaster enthusiasts. Next up is actually my third favorite roller coaster, Busch Gardens, SheiKra. SheiKra is an intimate, or not intimate, B&M dive coaster, which means it goes up a chain lift, then it goes to a platform, make a curve, then you have a slow moving chain lift pointing down, and then since it's a slow moving chain lift, it holds it out in place for a couple seconds like this, and then just go like that. Then normally they do a loop and then it goes into a brake run. The one I like about the SheiKra, it actually goes into a water brake run on top of a regular brake run, which makes it a unique factor. But I can give this an A, so I do enjoy it a lot. It's like my third favorite roller coaster there. It's like a little bit behind Cheetah Hunt for me, because Cheetah Hunt's just cute and fun, as the other YouTubers said, but still enjoyable Cheetah Hunt. Next on the list is actually a roller coaster that just went extinct. It is Scorpion at the Busch Gardens, Tampa Bay. That coaster was 44 years old before it retired. I know the day I was riding it, on the last day I ride it, or the last vlog as you saw, it was overshooting the last brake run. It was trying to retire on its own turn. I'm gonna rank this actually at a B, but it should more be like a C. But I'm ranking it a B just because I have a lot of good like memories with my friends on there. Like I went on it with my friend Justin once, and yeah, a lot of fun memories on there. With the beeping noise that they played before or it was like a beeping noise when they click the dispatch button. It's your and she like beep beep, and I was like BB8 as a joke. But this had a lot of memories on there. That's always like going to B. That should more be like a C, but just because of memories and nostalgia, it's going to be. Next up is actually the first spinning coaster, the first of two spinning coasters we have on the list. But this one was made by Mock Rides, Cobra's Curve. It's a family spin coaster. I personally enjoy it a lot. I know my friend Justin, he hates going backwards on roller coasters, so he doesn't like it, but I personally like it a lot. But it's not on the same level as SheiKra or Cheetah Hunt or Gwazi. So I'm gonna put this in a B, but it's like a B above the Scorpion. Next up is probably the best B&M invert in the world. Well, it's the only B&M invert I've been on besides. No, actually I've been on the Batman since Six Flags. I went there as a kid. But I think this is probably, as a lot of the coaster enthusiasts' favorite B&M invert. Mine too. It's like the most intense invert, or most like thrilling ride. It has like 7 inversions. or 7 loops. It's just a fun ride in general. The layout's great. It's a custom layout compared to like the Batman clones that they have. But this is gonna go in actually the A tier. Next up is Tigers. I like Tigers, but I don't go on it enough. Like I said before with this Cobra's Curse, it's a good coaster, but it's not on the same level as Montu, Secret, Cheetah Hunt, Iron Gauze either. So I think I'm gonna have to put this in a B, but below the Cobra's Curse. Like, Cobra Curse is a higher tier than that, I feel like. Next up is actually Busch Gardens Tampa's newest roller coaster, Phoenix Rising, which I actually thoroughly love. The 3 times I've been on it, I actually like it a lot. The best row I think on this one is row 7. It's their B&M family invert, which is the first of a kind in America. And now Busch Gardens Williamsburg, their sister park, is actually opening a B&M family invert. And it's supposed to be called the Return of the Big Bad Wolf or something like that. But they're opening their own family invert. It's not as intense as Montu, but it's just a fun ride in general, I feel like. That's because it has the onboard audio. It's actually the first of a kind Busch Gardens roller coaster to have onboard audio. And the other thing about it is just it has like the screen projections and the loading station to show what Phoenix you're getting. But I'm gonna give this an A, but it's not as good as Cheetah Hunt Montu and Secret, all the other options in A. Now it looks like we're heading over to SeaWorld Orlando. SeaWorld Orlando actually is like one of my favorite coaster areas in Orlando, believe it or not. I haven't been to Fun Spot or Pepe Pig or Legoland yet, but they're not really coaster enthusiast spot, apparently, according to what I heard. I love coffee. But first up, it looks like it's Manta. They're flying coaster. I personally love Manta. It's not like their top tier roller coaster they have at that park, but I absolutely love Manta. It's fun, cute. This lays down the stomach. You got that pretzel loop. It's better than the Superman clone that I rode in the Great Adventure when I was younger, I remember. So I'm gonna put this in A. Next up is actually a very, very rare coaster. It's not, most people don't consider it a coaster, but it does have coaster track at one part of it. It is Journey to Atlantis at SeaWorld Orlando. It's made by Mach Rides, the same people that make Cobra's Curse. It actually goes to like a part dark log flume ride, or like dark water ride, like Pirates of the Caribbean. Then it gets to the top section, and then it does a drop, like Splash Mountain, or like a shoot drop, more like. Then it goes up a chain lift area, then it becomes part roller coaster once it gets to the top, change up for like 5 seconds, then it goes straight back down into the water, splashing into it. But I like it, but it's not my favorite there. I'm probably gonna put this actually in a B tier. Next up is a ride that actually had problems with recording last time I went on there, because I had to get permission from like a special person to record on that ride with the Insta360 Go Dre, since the ride operator was trying to say GoPro only, which I knew wasn't true. So it's Kraken. I actually do like Kraken, but depending on the train you get on Kraken, it could be a little rough. I'm gonna put this in the B tier just because it could get a little rough depending on the train you get. Next up is actually SeaWorld's newest roller coaster, Penguin Track. It's a family launch coaster. It kind of reminds me of Cheetah Hunt, but with no inversions or anything like that. It's more thrilling than like the Eric Grover or Super Boxcar Derby in that same park, but it's still not the best. It's so, if you go in the back row, it's very, very, very janky. That's how the newer BMMs are nowadays. They're very janky in the back, but it's still a fun ride. I'm gonna put it actually in the A tier. Or no, I'm gonna put it in B tier actually. That's because it's not as good as these ones, but it's like on the same level as these. Now I'm thinking about putting Scorpion in C tier. I moved Scorpion to C. Oh, this is my favorite of this park, the next one. You know what my favorite SeaWorld is if you're a fan of this channel. Mako. Mako is an absolute S tier. It's the best airtime. It's like the fastest in Orlando, one of the fastest roller coasters in Orlando. There's tons of airtime. It's a B&M hyper coaster pretty much. So it pretty much has a lot of airtime hills like that. It goes like this, and then it goes like curve like that. It's just fun B&M hyper coaster. I personally really enjoy the roller coaster itself. It's like the perfect fit in the car for the park in general. I really like it. Next up is actually one of my least favorite roller coasters at SeaWorld Orlando. It is Icebreaker. I feel like that the Tigress, the one that's right here, it's a lot better than that. The Skyrocket 2 model, and this is supposed to be a Skyrocket 3 from Premier Ride. It's like it's supposed to be a family swing launch coaster, but I think it's more thrilling. The reason I don't like it is because I get a little queasy on that ride for some reason. I don't really get queasy on rides to begin with, so that's one of the few roller coasters I get queasy on. It's like on the same level as a Tigress, but I feel like it's a little worse, so I'm gonna give it into C tier. Next up is actually Super Grover Boxcar Derby. It's their family roller coaster that they had there for Sesame Place Land. It used to be called Shamu Express at one point, but since there's even a waiver in the animals, they made it Sesame Place. I'm kind of gonna rate this as D tier. That's because I personally do not enjoy it that much. Well, I'm a thrill seeker, so that's why I don't do it that much, but it's still a fun ride, but it's not like for thrill seekers like the coaster enthusiast pretty much. Still a fun ride though. I do enjoy it, but it's not fun for me. Next up is actually Pipeline, the surf coaster. I love Pipeline, the surf coaster. It's a B&M stand-up roller coaster, but it's a new model of it. It's a stand-up roller coaster with a lawn. Like they perfected the old style stand-up coaster. I wanted Green Lantern when I was younger at the Six Flags Great Adventure. All I'm gonna say, if you're a man, your area hurts from the Green Lantern. From this one, they perfected everything about it just to make it smooth. It doesn't hurt the area. It's a fun roller coaster. I feel like that and Mako is like a perfect 1-2 punch in this park. So I'm gonna go ahead and give it an A tier. I personally really enjoy the Pipeline, the surf coaster. It's a lot of fun. And the Demon's awesome. Just having the surf coaster in general is awesome in my opinion. And the water effects at the one section, or the water splashes up when you go near the water. That's like how Manta has in that ride. It looks like now we're moving on to Universal Studios Florida, which I haven't been there since January this year, since I don't have my passes. The first one is a ride that I didn't ride this year, but I rode last year a lot. I went there this year for the one time, it was closed. It's Highwood Rip Ride Rocket. It's actually a Maurer made coaster that Universal had to take over to finish making it because Maurer did not do a good job. I personally really like this, but it doesn't live up to the Universal standards of roller coasters or rides in general. Now, I'm gonna put this in a B tier just because it's not as good as any of these coasters up there, but it doesn't live up to Universal's high standards, but it's still a fun coaster for me at least. But this does not live up to Universal standards of roller coasters. So. Next up is actually my favorite in the studio side of Universal, Revenge of the Mommy. I rode it once before, went down for the maintenance a couple years ago, and it was running better then than it was now. But I still will probably give this a B tier also, just because it's not like the same level as the Pipeline, Manta, Phoenix Rising, Montu, Cheetah Hunt, Shikra. It's probably just like a hair below in my opinion. Next up is actually a intimate effects coaster. It's called Escape from Gringotts. It's in the Diagon Alley in the studio side of Universal. I do like this a little bit better than Revenge of the Mommy, not that much, but it's more of a dark ride than coaster. So I'm gonna rank this in the B tier section. Now we're going to my favorite Universal park, it looks like, the Islands of Adventure. It's my favorite Universal park just because it has more like thrill seeker coasters, or it's probably the best Universal theme park they have till Epic Universe opens, honestly. It's very fun rides there also. But the first one looks like it's the Incredible Hulk coaster. That one really depends on your train. It either could be run so smooth or so bad. Depends on the train you get. But that roller coaster, I'm gonna give it in the B tier just because of that. Because it depends on the train, and I feel like it shouldn't matter, or it should not be that way for the roller coasters. The next one is actually my favorites at the Islands of Adventure is high actually. So this is one of my two favorites at Islands of Adventure. It's the Hagrid's Mystic Motor feature, the Hagrid's ride, the motorcycle roller coaster they have there. It's like on par with Tron, but better than Tron. It's like a mixture of Tron and Mount Everest at the Disney Animal Kingdom. So it's like on the same level as Expedition Everest at Animal Kingdom, but it's a mixture of like Tron and that. I'm probably gonna give this one actually S tier. Like the technology behind this roller coaster is amazing. It's not the most thrilling roller coaster. It's very enjoyable. Very, very enjoyable. That's why I'm giving it S tier. It's not thrilling, but it's very, very enjoyable. Like the Hagrid's animatronics, even how the loading station works, it's like amazing. I feel like that roller coaster is like the most efficient roller coaster. Well, Velocicoaster is pretty efficient also, but pretty efficient on how they load the station. Next up is actually Flight of Hypocrite. I only went on this one time, but I liked it, but it's more like a baby's first coaster. It's like the Islands of Adventure's baby coaster. I'm gonna give this in the D tier with the other baby coasters or kid coasters because it's not my favorite. I just wrote it just for the credit pretty much. Next up is actually this one that's tied for my second favorite Universal roller coaster. It's everyone's #1 coaster, but I think Wazi's a lot better than this in Mako. It's Velocicoaster. That one's gonna go automatically in S tier. This is like the newer style Intamin Blitz coaster. It goes extremely fast. I just feel like they perfected the Cheetah Hunt with this one. It pretty much made Cheetah Hunt, but make it better. That's what I felt like they did with this one. It has like the same launch tunnels that they do in Cheetah Hunt. That has the more Solaris roll, which is an awesome element. I personally really enjoy this coaster, like I said previously. That's one of the reasons why I'm thinking about getting the annual passes back to Universal in a couple months. For that and Hagrid's, because those two are like my two favorite things in Universal. But Velocicoaster is just an amazing Intamin coaster. I love Intamin. They make my favorite the Drop Tower, Falcon Fury. It's actually my shirt right there. And also I love King Ka and El Toro and the Six Flags Great Adventure. but I haven't been there since I was a kid, or since they first opened up. Next up, it looks like we have Disney Animal Kingdom, and they only have one roller coaster there, and that's Expedition Everest. That's probably like the most thrilling Disney coaster. It has like a backward, well, you go up a chain lift up the hill, and then you see like a missing track. Then it launches you backwards into a tunnel area. It's very fun. I personally really enjoyed this one a lot. This one is actually going to go up in the A tier though, if I could drag this. And dragging it up to A tier. It's not my favorite Disney coaster, but it's pretty dang good. It's like the highest of A tiers in my opinion. It's like up there at Cheetah Hunt for the highest of A tiers. Next up is actually, it's a family mock coaster that they have at Hollywood Studios, Disney's Hollywood Studios. I think this one's actually a little bit worse than Penguin Track. It's supposed to be like 7 levels Penguin Track, but I think this one's a little worse than Penguin Track personally. So I'm gonna rank this one in the C tier. My favorite element actually is the part that you go like this to simulate the Slinky Dog, but Slinky Dog Dash is the C tier for me. It's not as good as the Penguin Track, but it does the trick. It's just I think a tier lower, I feel like. The next one is actually Disney's only inverted roller coaster, and it's what their first launch coaster they may have in Walt Disney World. It is Rock and Roll Roller Coaster starring Aerosmith. This thing is an alright coaster. I like it a lot just because of the music. I felt like when I rode it the last time, it ran smoother than ever. But I'm gonna give this thing actually a B tier. I like it better than Slinky Dog, but it's not as good as like Expedition Everest, Pipeline, Manta, Montu, Phoenix Rising, Sheikah, and Cheetah Hunt. Next up is actually my favorite Disney roller coaster in general. It's Guardians Galaxy Cosmic Rewind. It's the second spinning coaster that's on this list. I love spinning coasters in general. Well, the two I've been on I like a lot so far. But this is a Vekoma spin coaster. It's controlled, unlike Cheetah Hunt, or not Cheetah Hunt, the Cobra's Curse, which is not controlled. It just automatically spins that one. But this one's a control, and it's designed to like rotate you to the scenes. That's how it's designed. The thing I like about this coaster is the music. I love Guardians Galaxy franchise to begin with a lot. It's my favorite Marvel franchise, Guardians Galaxy. But it's just it's kind of drilling. If you go on Road 10, according to what I heard from a couple other YouTubers that have been on Ride to Happiness at Palapsa Land, they said Road 10 kind of reminds them that, and that's most people's #1 roller coaster. But I'm gonna put this in the S tier just because I love the franchise, I love the ride, the music makes the ride even better. If you pay attention to next week's vlog, it actually has something to do with Guardians of the Galaxy. It's a special day at Epcot for the Guardians of the Galaxy, that's all I have to say. Next up is actually one of my favorite, or second favorite Disney launch coasters they have there. And this is actually a very underrated opinion. It's Tron Light Cycle Run. I love Tron Light Cycle. I love Tron the movie. I love Tron the roller coaster. So now that they have the Magic Kingdom, I knew they had it in Shanghai, but now they have Magic Kingdom. I'm so happy that I don't have to travel to Shanghai for it. My only thing is it's a short ride. Like Guardians of the Galaxy, it's like a 3-minute ride. This is like a 1 minute 30-second ride. So I'm gonna put this in an A tier. The best part of the ride is the launch into the grid section, and then when you cross the Team Orange and see their light cycle go over your light cycle line, that's kind of cool also. But I think that Guardians is better. Tron is a fun ride. You cannot compare them really though, just because they're two different experiences. That's what I don't get about the Disney fans. They try to compare them because they're both Vekoma roller coasters, but there's two different experiences. One's a bike ride, or bike coaster. Another one is just a Vekoma spinning coaster, which is fun anyway. I then forgot to say, now we're on to Magic Kingdom. But next up is actually the first roller coaster with the like rails, Terrabon roller coaster. I think that's what it's called. It's Space Mountain, as Mickey Mouse once said when Space Mountain opened. This is just a classic. It's not great, but it's just a classic. I'm gonna put this in the 8 tier just because it's my first roller coaster and one on that I really loved. I went to Disney World when I was younger as a kid. I did a night ride on Space Mountain. Well, it doesn't really affect the night ride part, but I did it at night, like the last thing right before the park closed. And I absolutely loved it. I remember telling my aunt and uncle that was freaking amazing. I think I told them. But that one I'm ranking A tier. It's not because it's thrilling, it's just more of a nostalgia factor why I'm ranking it A tier. Next up is actually the Barnstormer. This is another kids coaster. I think it's made by Vekoma, this one. This one's actually just more fun demon. It's more like Goofy's the pilot and he drew billboards. That's what I liked about this one. It's more about the demon than the actual coaster that I like. I gotta give this one into this D tier just because it's a kids family coaster pretty much. Or kids coaster. Next up is actually Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. This is not the most thrilling roller coaster. It's a minecart coaster from Vekoma that the seats rattle like this as the ride goes on. It's not the most thrilling coaster, but I still like it a lot. It's a more dark ride than coaster. I feel like I didn't do this in the C tier just because it's not my favorite, but I haven't got the credit for it this year actually. I may go there on a Halloween, not so scary Halloween day, just to get the credit so I don't have to wait a while. Next up is actually, the last option is actually a Disney classic. They have this in all or most Disney castle parks. It's the Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. But I'm ranking the one in Orlando though, not the other ones. I haven't been on the other ones yet. This one is more like it's a fun coaster. To get there in a firework ride, it's like the best roller coaster to ride at Magic Kingdom during fireworks. I actually would probably give this a A tier, just because I like it during the fireworks and it's fun for me. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, me ranking the coasters. Hope you guys have a good day and happy, I think this is coming out on a Saturday, so happy Saturday. Bye.